Alright, move on. 2006. Gotta say, not the greatest year of film.
I'm gonna disagree a little bit.
So, but there's some shining lights here for me.
Exactly, that's what I would say, yeah.
So to paint the picture, you want to talk about, hey, we're trying to make some franchises here. Pirates 2, Cars, X3, Da Vinci Code, Superman Returns, Ice Age 2. Let's keep going here. Hey, let's try to make Over the Hedge, another animated fucking feature here. Mission Impossible 3. Like,
hey, that's an underrated movie.
I'm not, again, half those movies are actually pretty good or mediocre films that get shit on too much. I'm not trying to say the quality is just straight up lacking. Some of them are. Okay? X3,
yeah.
Superman Returns. I wouldn't even say Superman Returns is bad. It's just boring. What a boring ass movie. It's not great, but what just a boring movie.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I forgot Casino Royale, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's just like making franchises. But then you have these shining light movies, The Prestige, Pan's Labyrinth, Little Miss Sunshine, and then movies that have really become these like cultural touchstones when at the time you didn't think they would. Like Devil Wears Prada has gone from this movie where people are like, oh, that Meryl Streep movie, to, for some reason in our generation, there's just a swath of people that will die on the hill for that movie. Idiocracy.
I've never even seen it.
I've seen it once. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's good, but it's not a must watch. There are people that are going to tell you, gotta watch it. It's fine. Again, it's most relevant because of The Office. It's just the truth. Another movie that really aged and became something when at the time it was not seen to be anything, Idiocracy. That's a movie that people did not care about whatsoever, just went unnoticed, and now, because it's essentially self-fulfilling prophecy, it's a cultural touchstone, because anytime someone says, you ever seen Idiocracy? You're like, I know, we're living in it right now, right? And you're like, yep, that's why I mentioned it. Or a movie that took over the zeitgeist, kind of died for a little bit, and then came back, Borat, where it's just like, didn't see that one coming. So, a lot of interesting stuff. Also, I forgot, let's continue down here. Night at the Museum. Let's make another franchise. Hey, let's revitalize this franchise with The Hills Have Eyes. Just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And also, I would be remiss if I did not mention 2006. I am sick and tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. You can't mention 2006 cinema without snakes on a plane. It's not good. I've watched 10 minutes of it and was just ready to go. Nope.
I've seen it.
Oh,
I've
I know.
seen the whole thing. It sucks.
You love Samuel L. Jackson. For a while, I think it could be argued your favorite actor was Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, it was, yeah.
And I remember just being like, Dylan, what are you doing? You're like, no, snakes on the plane. I'm like, Dylan, what are you doing?
Yeah, he makes some weird choices.
Yeah. And also another great movie, V for Vendetta. Nobody ever talks about it anymore. Great movie.
I don't love it that much. Okay, so Best Picture, actual nominees. You got The Departed that won Best Picture. Babel, Letters from Iwo Jima, mentioned earlier. Little Miss Sunshine, and The Queen. Director, Martin Scorsese for The Departed, finally winning after, I think this was his 6th nomination. Actor, Forrest Whitaker for The Last King of Scotland. Actress, Helen Mirren for The Queen. Supporting actor Alan Arkin for Little Miss Sunshine, and then supporting actress Jennifer Hudson for Dreamgirls.
Okay.
Got any technical?
I do have technical. Makeup. This
Okay.
movie is trash. Makeup, good. Nomination for X3, I think, is worthy. With Beast and half the other mutants, I think that deserves a makeup nom.
Would you say it deserves it over Apocalypto, Click, or Pan's Labyrinth?
Over Click? Yeah.
Click has some pretty good makeup, I will say that.
Apocalypto is a thing all to itself, and Pan's Labyrinth, it's like, you can't compete with Pan's Labyrinth.
That's what won. And yeah, that deserves it 100%.
Pan's Labyrinth's one of those movies that I think people that know me would be like, oh, you love Pan's Labyrinth. Never seen it. I need to.
Oh, really?
It's always on that one of those days.
Good.
One of those days, I'll get to it.
You should have watched it. You should have watched it before Halloween. It's a good, weird, dark fantasy. Yeah, it's strange.
There's a lot of those movies that fit into that realm that are on my perpetual one of these days, but they never come around. So, technical category, I think a nom for X3 is worthy, because it's the only positive about that movie.
I could
Hugh Jackman doesn't suck in it.
Sure.
That's about as fine as it goes. Has a good intro that's intriguing, and then just goes nowhere. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I actually did rewatch it probably like about 3 months ago when I was on an X-Men kick.
Same deal.
And it wasn't as bad as I remember it, but it still wasn't good.
Okay, do you remember what movie came out simultaneously? We went to the movies, you and like 2 friends went to something else. And I was adamant. I was like, I'm going to X-Men. And another one of our friends came with me. Friend that came with me fell asleep in X3 in the theater. We're right next to the speaker, by the way, and he fell the fuck asleep.
I can't remember what it would have been that we would have saw.
But yeah, it's...
Well, I do remember that, though.
Yeah.
That really rings a bell.
Yeah. So, I that is a technical category that I would...
Maybe it was Pirates.
I think Pirates came out after, because Pirates 2, because I remember Pirates 2, we watched the World Cup final, and then we went straight from the World Cup final into Pirates 2.
Okay.
Because it was Zidane's headbutt game, where he fucking headbutts the guy at the end of overtime in the Italy-France final. We literally saw that, went, that's fucking crazy, talked about it for 20 minutes with the rest of our friends that talked about soccer, on the car ride to the movie theater, and went straight into Pirates 2. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was interesting.
Huh.
Original song, would have liked to see a nomination for You Know My Name from Casino Royale, Chris Cornell. Great movie, great song.
Ooh, yeah, I didn't think about that one, but I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. Adapted screenplay, Casino Royale. Also think deserves a nomination. It's adapted from a book. I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's wildly different from the book.
Yeah.
That's like the only James Bond book I've read. And it's very different.
I mean, yeah. I haven't read many of the I know a lot of the James Bond books, but I've never really read them. Reading me no read no good, as my wife likes to tell me. So it's how it goes. Those are my technical ones to discuss. I don't think Casino Royale gets enough credit. That's really my thing. I don't think Casino Royale gets enough credit because it's always labeled as what a great Bond movie. I'm like, no, what a great movie. Yes, it's a great Bond movie, but just what a great movie in general.
I'd agree. I also had song written down, but I would have picked Listen from Dreamgirls over somehow I Need to Wake Up from an Inconvenient Truth one. Don't know how that happened. Always confuses me. Maybe it was a Diane Warren song, and she somehow always gets nominated every single year. And I mean, still, she has to have like 30 nominations at this point. It's crazy.
She's in that John Williams category, where no matter what John Williams does, he just gets nominated.
It's crazy. Like, literally, every single year she has a nomination. Oh, it's not her. It's Melissa Etheridge. And then the other one I would have put sound mixing. I would have picked Pirates over Dreamgirls.
Okay.
They had a this was like a thing like for like about a decade where like from 2005 to 2015 where if you did a musical most likely you're going to get the sound mixing and the sound editing awards. It always bugged me because it's like there's a lot of like really great sound mixing and sound editing and like a lot of the big blockbusters. I will give them that.
Oh, that's what makes them. That's what makes them fun. Is the sound. That's why you have to go to the theater to go watch those. The sound on some of those, you're like, this is awesome. Whether on screen is awesome or not is a different story, but the sound is always good.
So I actually don't have any changes for any of the winners for the acting categories, but I do have a couple shout outs. Best Actor, would have loved to see Sacha Baron Cohen for Borat.
I think he deserves it.
And then Daniel Craig, Casino Royale. I think he's great in that movie.
I thought about it, but I thought I might get a little too much pushback on that one. But I thought about it because Daniel Craig. I don't want to give too much hyperbole, but that's kind of, for a guy who doesn't want to be in that franchise, that's kind of the performance of a lifetime. Where he gives this nuance to this character that has been so this way this entire time, and he completely in one film goes from who's this blonde-eyed skinny fuck who's trying to be James Bond to this is the definitive version of this character, and anyone who comes before him, including the guy that everyone associates with this character, is second fiddle now. That's pretty fucking impressive.
And then a couple more shout outs. Christian Bale in The Prestige for supporting actor, and Ava Green for Casino Royale for supporting actress.
Also great. Been in love with her ever since. I've been legitimately in love with that woman. The first time I saw Casino Royale, I just went, oh my god. I will say this. What category is Meryl Streep nominated for?
Best Actress for The Devil Wears Prada.
Fucking ridiculous. She's not even the lead in the movie.
Oh, she's not?
No! That's Anne Hathaway's movie. Meryl Streep takes over. If they put her in supporting actress, who wins supporting actress? Is that Jennifer Hudson?
Oh, supporting actress is Jennifer Hudson, for Dreamgirls.
There's a good possibility she doesn't win. Because Meryl Streep dominates that movie, but she's not the lead. She's the title character, but she's not the lead of the movie.
Well, I will say that there's no way she was going to lose, Jennifer Hudson. Because Forrest Whitaker, Helen Mirren, and Jennifer Hudson swept the Golden Globes, the BAFTAs, SAG, and Critics' Choice. So this was like one of those years where it's just like, this is going to be a boring show. Like, everyone pretty much knows the winners.
Sure.
And then this is a year where I can tell you pretty much with authority that Eddie Murphy was fucking pissed off beyond belief that he lost. Because going into this night, he had won the Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice, and the SAG Award for Best Supporting Actor. And then the only thing Alan Arkin had won was a BAFTA. And then Alan Arkin ended up winning the Oscar,
So,
which I gotta say I don't mind because Little Miss Sunshine is one of, again, like top 50 movie for me. I love that movie so much,
never seen it.
and oh, it's so good. It is so good. Paul Dano in that movie is hilarious. Yeah, it's like just like quirky, and if you're a screenwriter or you want to be a writer, like,
You gotta
it's
watch Little Miss
amazing.
Sunshine. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
it's. I wouldn't say it's on brand for Eddie Murphy because he's used to kind of not losing, but he's used to never being taken seriously. Maybe that's his thing. Is he finally has the role where he thinks I'm going to be
I
taken
think this was
seriously.
it. Yeah.
Fair, because the thing about it is Eddie Murphy during this time period doesn't make a lot of good stuff.
Oh no, I mean, there was like jokes about like he lost because Norbit came out the same year. Like people just didn't vote for him because Norbit was so bad.
How could he be this
So it's
good if
like,
Norbert was that bad? Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, it's like that the joke about like Eddie Redmayne where he won Best Actor, and then luckily right after the Oscars, it was what's that really shitty movie he's in?
the Jupiter's.
The Wachowskis. Yeah, Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah,
Like luckily that came out after the Oscars. Everyone
it's
joked like, had that come
bad.
out
Jupiter
beforehand?
Ascending is bad.
And he's awful in that movie.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So like everyone joked like, oh, had that come out before the Oscars, I don't think they would have voted for it.
Yeah, I mean, I, I think it's more of a reflection. With all due respect to Eddie Murphy, obviously comedy icon, cultural icon. That's not.
Yeah.
It's thrown around a lot. Eddie Murphy is legitimately a cultural icon. Hence the reason, no matter what shitty project he does, when it says, "Oh, Eddie Murphy's in this," people pay attention.
Yeah.
However, I think it says a lot in the last 25 years. His most relevant, best stuff has been an animated DreamWorks series.
Yeah, that's true.
And it sucks. As someone who wants
Yep.
to see more Eddie Murphy, and just. The other thing is, Eddie Murphy, from interviews and other stuff, took a real turn away from his brand when he had kids, where he like made a very conscious effort to try to stop
That's
being
very true.
Eddie Murphy, and he tried to be Family Man Eddie Murphy,
Hmm.
and it really tanked a lot of his
Yeah, this is
stuff.
probably that probably Dreamgirls probably was one of his first like more serious roles after all that because Shrek, Daddy Daycare, Shrek 2, like
Orbit,
those are not, yeah, like those aren't taken seriously.
Doctor Doolittle, like
And then
he's in all that shit. It's
yeah,
like it's just
um,
oh god, man.
yeah,
For someone
it is what it is. I
for
guess.
someone that I love, there's a lot of his stuff that I do not like. Like legitimately, I don't like it. Not even a. It's fine. I'm just like this is not good. This is
Yeah.
not good.
And then Best Picture, even though it seems really obvious that The Departed would win, the Producers Guild, Little Miss Sunshine won. The Golden Globes drama was Babel. The musical or comedy was Dreamgirls. Critics' Choice was The Departed, and then the BAFTAs was The Queen. So everything kind of had one win going in, except Letters from Iwo Jima. But I mean, it was Scorsese, and everyone kind of said,
It's time.
kind of thought he would win it. Yeah, it's his time finally. He hasn't won yet, so
So you're gonna be unhappy. I've never watched The Departed. I've seen scenes of The Departed. A lot of Scorsese stuff just doesn't hit with me to the point where I'm like, yeah. He makes these long ass movies that most of the time I'm just like, all right.
it's
He's
It's
great.
not my favorite Scorsese movie, but it is good. It's really good.
My favorite scene, my favorite part about The Departed is Matt Damon talking about Jack Nicholson in the scene that's in which he assassinates somebody. That's my favorite part of the whole thing. Is just like, that's a real sinister thing to do. Like, just because you can hear Jack Nicholson constantly just being like,
yep.
well, because we're making a joke out of this whole thing. Like, you can hear Jack Nicholson.
Mm-hmm.
That's hearing Matt Damon describe Jack Nicholson creating something. That's movie magic. That just because you can see an actor's craft going like, I can do that, but I think I could do more, and that's the beauty of the craft itself. But yeah, otherwise, this is another year. This is another collection of movies that I was kind of like, all right, just at the time was not.
Yeah.
I could see if I had seen The Departed during that time period, probably going like, God, what a good movie! Oh, it's so great. I could see that as a possibility, but
Babel is Alejandro Inarritu, but it's one of those like, it's kind of like Crash, kind of, in the sense, not in the sense of it's awful, but in the sense of like, it's a bunch of like interconnecting stories of like, yeah, like it's just like almost like vignettes almost of interconnecting stories, which I don't really love those kinds of movies.
at that point, just nominate the Avengers then, because that's all the Avengers is. First one.
Well, the Avengers sucks though.
Whoa.
Sorry. I don't like that movie.
I don't think I think it gets too much praise now. The Avengers is still good. It's not it doesn't suck, okay?
It's mediocre.
I can give you mediocre if you're not crazy about it.
Letters from Iwo Jima, I do think is actually like one of the best World War II movies, because it's actually like a really nuanced look at the Japanese in World War II, which you rarely get.
Yeah.
Especially from Clint Eastwood. Like, you wouldn't expect that.
No, you think you're going to get Americana, bring the boys home.
Well, he did, because he also did that weird thing where he shot Flags of Our Fathers and Letters from Iwo Jima, I want to say simultaneously or back to back. Because I think they came out 2006. I think they both came out 2006, actually. So, but yeah, Flags of Our Fathers, skip that one completely. It sucks. But Letters from Iwo Jima is really, really good.
Okay.
It's got, what's the guy's name in Inception?
Which one?
The Japanese guy.
Ken Watanabe.
Thank you. Yes.
Great actor.
Great in that.
Great actor.
Yeah. He's always great. And then the Queen is kind of like what I said about Ray, where it's like a great performance, but is the movie all that great? Yeah.
Is that a Miramax, or is that the next year that I'm thinking about with Judi Dench?
The Queen is Miramax, yes. I don't know if Harvey Weinstein was still in charge at that point. I'm not sure when he stopped being in charge of Miramax. He could have been.
Frankly, at this point, anything that's Miramax after our former discussions, I'm just
Miramax is always going to have that Harvey Weinstein stench to it. So yeah. So, have you seen any of those?
No.
Is there anything you would change?
No, I don't know enough, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'll change it.
But you don't. There's not like a movie you feel really, really strongly about. That you're like, this.
From
really
what I know of, I think Little Miss Sunshine, from a writing perspective, could possibly push it over the top for me. The Best Picture category, but I haven't seen it, so I don't want to affirm, like, from what I know of it, it's.
I really played with that idea. I was like, oh, I really want to pick Little Miss Sunshine, but I was like, I think The Departed actually does deserve it. But I actually took out Babel and the Queen, and I put in Pan's Labyrinth, and I actually put in Borat because I was like, can you think of a movie that spawned like an entire genre like that in the past 15, 20 years, you know?
Oh.
Like there was so many Borat ripoffs after that.
Yeah, including from Sacha Baron Cohen.
You know, yeah, and none of them could do it as well as Borat did.
Yeah, Borat's a one
So
of
it's
one.
like
It's a unicorn in that
yeah.
genre.
And apparently, Sacha Baron Cohen refused to present an award because they wouldn't let him do it as Borat. So that's always good to know.
To be fair, that's another one of those that the Oscars getting in their own way, be like, this is prestigious. And it's one of those things that if this were today, if that were to come out, they'd get roasted non-fucking stop because people would be like, this would make people actually want to watch this show.
But can you honestly blame them though? Like, I wouldn't trust Sacha Baron Cohen as Borat to do. I think he would do literally anything.
I would just put him in a category that's low stakes. I'm not saying there's anything.
No, but I'm saying I could see him literally getting naked on the stage just because he feels like it.
Worth it.
But yeah, that's true. Maybe it would be worth it.
Here's the thing. The Oscars is now known best for a slap.
Yeah, that's true.
The Oscars needs... There's a reason...
It would be memorable.
There's a reason they have an original song category. Do you need an original song category for the Oscars? No. That category exists.
Well, I would say yes.
That category exists so they can have a show. That's why that category exists.
I would agree with that, but I would say like songs are an important part of movies.
They're very important, and I've been some of my strongest takes in the last 2 episodes have been the song category. I'm not disputing their importance, but if you look at why that exists, that's the one element that they try to keep in for showbiz.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And that's where I'm like, your movie magic. Fucking have E.T. do some goddamn awards. You know, like, you want to appeal to people? Okay. Fucking have Ryan Reynolds come out as Deadpool and do that shit. Just one, like, and just say, Ryan, this is for sound mixing or whatever. No one's going to pay attention to this category. Okay, I'll get them to pay attention. And people, you can honor movies that aren't going to win awards like that and get people interested in that. Like, that's where I just go, what are you doing? Like, that's a missed opportunity.
That's where you just want someone to take a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one's ever going to do that.
Well, the last time
the Oscars, unfortunately.
Oh, the last time the Oscars took a chance, it was James Franco and Anne Hathaway, and it didn't work out well.
True. Yeah.
Because James Franco was just high out of his mind and didn't care. And you can see Anne Hathaway just dying because she's trying so hard, and it's just not good. But yeah, that's a different story entirely. I can't wait for that year to come up so we can review some clips of that shit.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Any other takes on 2006?
Nope.
Favorite movie from 2006? I'm assuming it's Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh. Let me see. It'd be that, or it'd be Casino Royale. Yeah, probably Little Miss Sunshine.
So I will say, actual favorite is Casino Royale, by far. However, I'm a big comfort movie person. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about a movie that I think in the calendar year of 2023, I watched legitimately 50 times on repeat because I would just put it on and just do stuff to it. I love Accepted. Accepted is one of my favorite comfort movies of all time. I love Accepted. So I can't talk about 2006 and not talk about Accepted. And also another movie that never gets talked about enough, The Prestige. I fucking love The Prestige. I think it's a great movie. No one ever talks about it because it's the Nolan movie sandwiched in between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and no one ever talks.
which is funny because I actually think it's one of the better Nolan movies. But, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's in the discussions. I mean, there's a clear, obvious number one, but then you kind of go from there.
I disagree.
That there's not a clear
I
number
don't think.
one.
Yeah, I don't think The Dark Knight is his best movie.
We're going to talk about that in 2008. All right, 2007. Yeah. You're already undermining my 2008 arguments here, motherfucker.